All right. Hi. This is Greslin, and we're here talking about Pace dev8. And this time around, what we're going to be talking about are talking about tactical hotkeys and some shotgun AI improvements. We're getting closer to 1.0. I think we are. We're not as close as I would have liked. If you'd asked me 2 days ago how close we were to 1.0, I'd say probably 2, maybe 3 weeks. I think we're a little farther than that, but I'm just in a more pessimistic mood today. This time around, rather than dealing with Piper with her rifle, we're dealing with Cait and her shotgun. So I beamed in Cait using SKK Companions Unlock, and we're also going to give Dogmeat some time off today. And what I want to talk about, let's get right to it. I spent a lot of time this last week working on hotkeys. Let me first say, as of Dev8, all the companions are now turned on by default. Previously, only Dogmeat and Piper were turned on by default, and you would have to select on any other ones you wanted to use. Now they're all selected on. I've also confirmed that as of Dev8, at least, earlier versions may also, but as of Dev8, Pace is compatible with the multi-companion functionality of Amazing Follower Tweaks, AFT. It may be used. It may be compatible with Unlimited Companion Framework. I don't know, and I can't testify to how compatible the Pace in general is with all the different features of AFT. But for the multiple companion functionality, you can use AFT and have Pace AI attached to all of your companions. So that I've confirmed. As of Dev8, we also now have tactical hotkeys. One of the things I did in Dev8 was I went back over the movement control system, which is the internal infrastructure that I use to basically send an NPC from one point to another, specifically along the local nav mesh. And the Go There system was imported directly from PA NPC. It works pretty well with PA NPC. It didn't work too bad with Pace, but I needed some upgrades and improvements. So it now has a much better version of Go There, which will, I'm sure, before 2.0 get ported back to PA NPC. So watch out for that. What I added to the Go There system was basically a radial position targeting. And so I added the math that now I can basically say, you NPC, take a look at that target, and I want you to attempt to get to a point at a particular angle in a circle around this target. Say, I want you to try to get to about 120 degrees behind the target at a range of, say, about 200 units. The Go There system will now figure out where exactly in the current cell that is and attempt to go there. That means I can now position an NPC pretty much anywhere on the down the nav mesh I want relative to the direction that the target is facing, and that target also can be the player. So that's going to open up a lot of opportunities in Pace, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities in PA and PC as well. So that kind of led to this. Now we have configurable hotkeys. I don't remember if it's just in Dev7 that I introduced scatter and return. It might have been. I don't remember. But now we have configurable hotkeys in MCM. And I want to explain how this works. Let me run right through here. Currently, the way the system's set up, you got two versions of these tactical movements. You have a direct order and an order to all your companions. They're all done through custom events. So basically, you're sending out a signal to all the local Pace AIs, and then they decide on their own whether or not they're going to listen to your particular order. These two right here, these two hotkeys, apply to all your companions in the vicinity that are enabled with Pace AI. If you hit that, that will summon all of your local companions to generally your position. That will send them all away from your position to the range of roughly about 1,000 units. They may go in the same direction. They may go into different directions. The point is they're going to get away from you. So if you go into a combat situation, you can hit that and hopefully set them up into flank positions in your combat scenario. These two are the same hotkeys, but directed at specific NPCs. Now you're going to select which NPCs count as direct companions with that hotkey. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute, and this is adjusting how far they are to travel if they're taking direct orders. By default, if you give an NPC a direct order to advance, which is basically a direct order to go straight in front of you to a point of about 1,000 units. That's where their default is currently. You can adjust that range here at increments of 0.5. So ranging from 0.5 and 2.5 times their default. So currently that's a range difference of between 500 units and about 2,500 units. So let me show you how kind of this works. All right, Cait, we're going to hit the selection hotkey. Selection hotkey is going to apply to any companion you are currently looking at. If I had Dogmeat right now activated with Pace AI, and he's not in my camera, so he would not be selected right now. Same goes for turning. Here we go. See that? I can select or unselect. For right now, I want to select. Are you going to go? Thank you. Okay. Now, our current range is about 1,000 units. And she is... Okay, we are not... Come on. Okay, be nice. Okay, let's try this again. Cait, why are you not listening to me? Probably because I wasn't looking at her. Okay. We're going to knock this back down. So I think I had her set to like 2.5. Let's get her back down to range. I need to have that range reset at some point, but let's try this again. There we go. Thank you. Remember, pace is a work in progress. And I'm currently giving her orders to move to about 1,000 units out. That's about 1,000 units away. Send her out to 1.5. Send her out to 2. And 2 is a little far. Let me explain something about nav meshing and the sort of limitations of the Fallout 4 engine. One of the big changes that happened in Fallout 4 was this big, wide open world. I can walk from here to the very end of the entire world map and never hit a load screen, unless I go into an interior cell. That was not the case in Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, where every so often you would hit a point where it would basically force you into a load screen, and then you would transition into a new part of the world. Each of those parts that each of those parts that you're transitioning between are called cells. And exterior cells in Fallout 4, the big change they made in this game was that the exterior cells overlap. It's not all one cell. So you may be in this cell, I could go down to Concord, and I will transition into another cell. The problem is that the local nav mesh is only limited to the immediate cell you're in. And the nav mesh is the data layer that tells the game where NPCs can safely travel, and it's what they use for pathing. So there's nothing I can do to send Cait out off the immediate nav mesh. And since this particular cell is the Red Rocket area, the nav mesh for the cell ends pretty much right beyond the billboard. I think this hill over here may go as far as the bridge, but I don't think so. And it also ends right along this ridge. So I can't really send her beyond that. If for some reason I do try to send her with the tactical hotkeys, you'll get a message back saying she can't get to that spot or she can't find that spot. That's just basically her saying, you're trying to send me off the nav mesh, and I have no way of doing that because I have no way to path there. That's a limitation of the Fallout 4 engine. I'm going to do my best to accommodate it, but just so that you realize that you're doing it, if you hit that limitation, that's what's happening, and that's not a bug in PACE. So, now if I let things scatter, yeah, that's kind of distance, and are you going to scatter? Are you going to scatter, Cait? She can't find a path because the range is still at, they're still at 2. We don't have this is not a very large nav mesh. Let's stick with that. Let's stick with 1.0, about 1,000 units. And now she can move. Yep. It's about 1,000 units. And she's going for some distance. And she's going to come back. Send you over there. Perfect. Get over here, please. Thank you. All right, I think that kind of explains the tactical hotkeys.
I see how you're looking at me. Not saying I don't like it, just thought I'd clear the air.
You know, I have never really played much with Cait. I was always kind of a Piper guy, but I'm starting to see her appeal. Cait's fun. Cait's fun in ways Piper isn't. So I've been enjoying testing out Cait. All right, so let's do some AI.